Welcome back. This is CN2 Sports. It's Monday, so that means it's time for all things football. I've got all of your Tri-County scores, plus what Football City USA stars are doing in the NFL. Let's get to it. The South Point Stallions came out hot and ready as they hosted the Indian Land Warriors Friday night for Week 5 of high school football. 5 of the 8 South Point touchdowns were for more than 50 yards. The Stallions remain undefeated after beating the Warriors 56-7. The Warriors' first and second string quarterbacks were out due to injuries, so Jacob Cooley played quarterback for the Warriors. The Warriors received the ball first but could not make it down the field. The Stallions responded as quarterback Talik Steele ran the ball in from 17 yards out. The Warriors continued to struggle on both offense and defense, but the Stallions remained hot as Quay Chambers ran 43 yards to put the Stallions up 12-0 with 4:50 left in the first quarter. Indian Land still failing to respond. Nigel Moore for the Stallions bolted down the field for a 44-yard run to get the Stallions inside the 10-yard line, where Talik scored 2 plays later. The 2-point conversion was good. The Stallions continued their momentum. Steele passed to Omega Blake, who ran 84 yards for a Stallions touchdown. The 2-point conversion was good. Blake adds one more Stallion touchdown before going into halftime. Their score, 35-0. Coach Holloman was impressed with his team in the first half, but they didn't let up in the second half either. Razik Miles made a 57-yard reception in the third quarter. Blake, playing quarterback in the fourth quarter, scored on an 89-yard run to put the Stallions up 49-0 with 2 minutes left in the game. Jacob Cooley threw to Nigel Lewis for a 25-yard touchdown. The game clock was running out, but not before one more Stallions touchdown. Miles returned the kickoff 77 yards for a final score of 56-7. Coach Holloman wanted to see his offense improve, and that's exactly what he got.
That's what we've been missing all season, the big play. And we finally hit, probably the prettiest pass I've seen in a while from Talik to Omega. And then we got lucky on the second one to Omega. But we've been missing the big play, and I think we got a lot of those tonight, not only through the air but on the ground as well.
Region play starts this Friday. The Stallions will play Westwood, and Coach Holloman says the team knows it's time to get serious.
I think Westwood is a really great team, really good quarterback, and some really good athletes. So we're going to prepare, and we understand that from here on out, every game is every game is important, but region play is definitely super important.
Indian Land will play Chester at home as they start Region 4 3A play. Now I'll toss things over to our Game of the Week crew who covered the York vs. Fort Mill football game.
At York tonight, where the Cougars defeated Fort Mill 34-17, and a tough night for Fort Mill. They lost their quarterback, and they've just got to regroup and try to come up with a game plan now as they'll open the region season against Rock Hill next week.
Yeah, and we give our best to Helms, who got hurt. I mean, you just hate to say it with anytime you see the stretcher come out. Again, they put the air cast on the leg, and ankle is what we've been told. So we wish the best to him. But yeah, it's tough for Fort Mill. It's tough to recover from that. Rasmussen came in. He's only a sophomore, but he managed to move the ball, put some points on the board. And for York, history repeated itself because this is exactly what happened last year. They defeated Fort Mill, launched them onto a 5-game winning streak. They seem to have found their running game here. Jordan Burris had a fantastic game, had several good runs. The line up front did a great job for them. So for York, this is something certainly to build on.
Yeah, we had Burris at over 150 yards and over 10 yards a carry. So York was able to really win the battle up front. It seemed like every time Fort Mill blitzed, they got burned as York just had the right play call for it.
They did. Every time it just seemed the blitz came from the outside and York just either went right up the middle for big yardage or if they blitzed from one side, they ran away from them, which is just the way the coaches like to design it. So overall, a great game tonight for the Cougars. All around special teams, we saw that punt return at the beginning of the game. Always exciting to see that. So for York, it's like everything was kind of running on all cylinders except for the turnovers. That'll be the one thing Coach Boyd will say. You have all those positives, say, yeah, but we turned the ball over 4 times.
Now the season starts again next week because what's happened up to now doesn't really count. Region play starts next week, and we'll have Rock Hill at Fort Mill. Fort Mill struggling on offense, losing their quarterback. Rock Hill won its 4th in a row tonight, and their defense is really playing good football.
They have been playing well for the last several weeks, and they had a tough non-conference schedule, for lack of a better term, non-conference, non-regional schedule. But I think it made them a better team, and they're now one of the more dangerous teams in this region because they have a staunch defense and a great running game.
We'll have that game for you next time, so we'll talk to you then. Have a good night.
As you heard, Fort Mill's quarterback Dillon Helms suffered a season-ending ankle injury. Helms posted on Twitter, "There's nothing anyone could have done to change the outcome of what happened." He says this is all part of God's plan, and adversity allows you to grow. He says he prays that nobody will lose faith in him as he will be back soon doing what he loves. We wish you the best, Dillon. Let's move on to our Founders Friday night flashback coming from the York vs. Fort Mill football game.
Hance throws this one's caught across the way.
Still up. There he goes. And
this could be a big play here.
Forget about it. He's gone.
Oh, this is...
Wow.
That is Deshaun Brown. Woo!
Friday Night Flashback is sponsored by Founders Federal Credit Union. Relax. You're with Founders.
Now let's catch up on the rest of your Tri-County High School football scores. Northwestern fell to Dutch Fork 49-0. Rock Hill defeated Lugoff Elgin 14-7. Chester defeated Carolina 55-21. Great Falls beat Ware Shoals 40-3. Legion Collegiate fell to Oceanside Collegiate 14-0. Clover defeated Irmo 48-14. Louisville fell to Pageland Central 42-3. Buford beat Andrew Jackson 9-0. Football City USA stars are shining on the bigger scale. The NFL, that is. Jadeveon Clowney, former South Point Stallion, made his biggest play yet with the Seahawks in Sunday Night Football as he returned an interception 27 yards to the end zone. It's the first career pick six for Clowney. The Seahawks beat the Cardinals 27-10 in Arizona. Congrats to Clowney, and it's always fun to see Football City USA stars making it in the NFL. In the studio, CN2 Sports, Morgan Cox.